Dr. Gemma Chuck is respected both nationally and internationally for the work that she's done in pre-weaning calf management, and we utilise Gemma's skills a lot and try and get her in front of farmers as much as we can to help with that education process.
From the work that I've done in Australia, farmers, the visual assessment of colostrum is not at all reliable. So farmers will only actually pick up 1 in 3 good quality samples and think the other 2 are rubbish. Just by looking at it and going, oh yeah, it looks like good stuff. We are now promoting much more the Brix refractometer over the traditional hydrometer, the colostrometer, purely because it's more robust, it's easy to use, and it doesn't matter if it's a 5-degree day or a 20-degree day, whereas the colostrometers would give you a different reading if it was a hot day or a cold day. So we are really promoting the Brix. I do tell people that, you know, if I'm working with an all Jersey herd, colostrum quality is the least of my worries. So if I feel they've got a lot of other things going on, I'll say, look, you know, we'll park the Brix refractometer for a while and we'll focus on these other things, because I find if I give a farmer 10 things to do, particularly by the time they see me, it's not usually good news. So it can be very overwhelming, and you feel like a bit of a counsellor in that sense. And, you know, certainly some of the reps in the room will have been there on some farms, you know, just for an ear to listen to the problem that's going on. So I don't give them 10 things to do. I try and pick no more than 3. And if it's a Jersey herd, I'll sort of shelf the Brix refractometer, because Jerseys have such good quality colostrum. I'm not usually worried about it. If it's a black and white herd, if it's a Friesian herd, then yeah, I want to know what's going on. And if it is all too much, I say, can you just measure it for the next 2 weeks just to see what's going on? Gives me an idea. Now, if I feel colostrum quality, if the results come back and I'm like, oh, it's not an issue in this herd, and not all black and white herds are terrible, but if it's not an issue, then I'll say, like, let's concentrate on other areas. But if it is, we'll take steps to try to get the best quality colostrum that we can. And that can be difficult, but in high producing herds, one of those things is twice daily pickup and removal of fresh cows from the calving area, which when I first came to New Zealand, everyone just went, nobody is going to do that, Gemma. No one is going to pick up twice a day. And I'm just like, well, it's one of the things that we can do to influence colostrum. When a cow calves, for every hour after calving, her colostrum quality declines by about 3.5%. So if you're only doing once a day pickup, and a cow calves at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're picking her up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you've missed 12 hours of possible quality colostrum there. Whereas if you picked her up at 7 in the morning, you're going to get a better colostrum quality. So things like that, we look at things like that, and we look at things like using vaccines, adequate dry off period. If we have a problem with leaking milk prior to calving, then we know leaking milk prior to calving results in a poorer quality colostrum, obviously, because it's sprayed all over the paddock for several days before she's calved. Then we might use internal teat sealant for that sort of thing. So there are a few things we can do for colostrum quality, but it's much harder to control than how quickly you give it. So a routine recommendation, aside from the Jersey scenario, is to routinely measure Brix colostrum quality from every cow. Don't get all hung up with the numbers. People get very into it and be like, oh, you know, this one's a 26 and this one's an 18 and this one's a 24. I don't care. It's all very interesting, but I don't care. I just want to know, is it above 22% or more? If it is, it's good. If it's less than 22%, it's poor. Let's just put them into 2 categories, 2 grades. Grade 1, premium, gold, sparkly grade. Grade 2 is second division, not so good grade, yeah? And if I know those 2 grades, then I can feed the calves accordingly. So if I've only got poor quality stuff, I know I've got to give a calf more of it really quickly. If I've got really good quality stuff, I'm going to give it preferentially as the first feed that the calf gets, and I don't need quite as much of it. So the traditional The recommendation that we tend to use is if you've got good quality stuff, so above 22% bricks, you need about 4 litres of it in the first 24 hours. Now I say 24, ideally 12, but let's not run before we can walk. If you've only got poor quality stuff, so grade 2 colostrum, then you actually need about 6 litres of it. Okay, so most of my herds, no one's giving 6 litres. They'll give 2 litres of good quality stuff, and then they might give an extra 3 litres of poor quality stuff. Okay, so it's knowing, if I'm going to go the effort of tubing and collecting calves and all this sort of stuff, I want to know what the quality of the product I'm giving is. I don't want to be blind with that. So the bricks is really, really important.